On this week's episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
5 episodes. This is
All right.
even my final form.
And we didn't open with the credits. I'm glad nobody saw that.
Yeah, that was...
I didn't hit the live button. I accidentally rolled the credits before I rolled the intro. So it's okay. We fixed that.
Little technical hiccup there. It's
technical hiccup.
Slip of the finger. That's what it was.
A slip of the finger.
Slip of the finger.
A finger.
It's okay. We course corrected. Here we are. Episode 9. 8-bit Atomic Geeks. This week we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Superhero. That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
Yeah. So something fresh, something that's not old, but hey, it's not often we all make it into a movie theater and see something at the exact same time. We're all fresh on it. We're all ready to go.
Fresh-ish. I mean, it's been a week, right? It has been a week. We saw it opening night.
And we are old, grumpy geeks.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Forget stuff.
But I think this will be, like you said, it's not old. It's not retro, but it'll be the second newest thing that the newest thing, not this. Anyway, chronologically, this is the second thing that isn't old we've done. The first was Top Gun Maverick.
Yep. Which was actually the first episode anyway, so we already we sort of got off a tangent of our ideal theme. So
right out of the gate.
But hey, we've said from the beginning that we'll sprinkle in a little bit of some new stuff in as well. So Dragon Ball Super, the 21st Dragon Ball movie. It's kind of weird. So the article I'm looking at now says the second Dragon Ball Super movie. So I guess, was Battle of the Gods a Z movie?
I was like, what?
Because obviously Broly was a Super
Resurrection F, Broly. Superheroes.
Oh yeah, so we're
four. Broly was. There's 2 Brolys.
Did they make Resurrection F its own movie? It was its own movie, wasn't it? Yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have Resurrection F. They took Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F and put them as the first few episodes of the Super series.
So yeah. Resurrection F is a Z movie. So there we go. Just kind of rolled so quickly into the Super era. I guess I just didn't. I don't know. I just immediately and because of watching the Super series, I just assumed that was part of the title. So there we go. Learn something every day.
Right. I mean, it would have made sense to me that it would be a Super, not a Z, but.
Yeah. So.
What can you do?
Yeah, it is what it is. It's fine. So, all right. So fine. It is technically, it is the second Dragon Ball Super movie. Obviously a big shift on this one from prior. We changed the focus a little bit. I know someone who's probably very, very happy about that.
Maybe. My boy Gohan finally got some love.
Hey,
finally.
He had it coming. I mean,
he did have it coming.
I mean, I don't dislike Gohan. I mean, I'm not a huge Gohan fan, but like even I'm over here like, come on, he's got the Saiyan in him. Why is he? Resurrection F. Why does he get hit with a fun noodle and goes down like a punk?
A fun noodle.
I mean, come on.
Oh, that's too good right there. Fun noodle. Who knew that's what Frieza used? Fun noodles.
Yeah.
Tickle.
I mean, that was just embarrassing. That was he didn't deserve that. He didn't have that coming.
I mean, they pretty much just used him in that arc as a battery of some sort to pinpoint where everyone was at, so Goku could do his whole poof instant transmission.
Yeah.
Instant transmission.
So yeah. But finally, he gets some love. But he's not the only one. You know, there's some others who get some love, right?
And we'll go ahead and I'll put this out here. This will probably be some spoiler discussion. So this is more of, you know, around. It's less a review and more here's our thoughts on it. So if you hadn't seen it and you really don't want spoilers, probably going to go ahead and say you might want to bail. We're not really used to that. You know, we're talking about old stuff that if you're worried about spoilers,
Yeah.
where have you been?
Where-
The spoiler warning has lapsed.
yeah. Spoiler alert. Oh, like, subscribe,
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Comment.
Share, comment, all the
Yep.
good stuff that YouTube likes YouTube likes, makes YouTube happy, whatever. Helps us grow. Or also, you know, if you're catching this later on the podcast, same thing.
Right.
So which we are now officially in the podcast space. We are on multiple feeds. We are on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcast. May work to set up some additional ones, but that's just to kind of get us started and out the gate. So yeah, if YouTube isn't your
Your forte.
Yeah. If you're not a fan of watching, you know, you really just want to listen. You can hit up the podcast space. But to get that live interaction, you know, YouTube is still going to be, you know, the first place to go, first place to see this, catch this, and get that, like I said, get that live interaction. So
From there, we'll go to multiple platforms. We're on multiple platforms. Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So Gohan is not the only one, obviously in this. Now I am a little bit more of a bigger, I guess, kind of Piccolo fan. So to see him get a much needed power up, and I hope it's not a hollow one. I mean, obviously, you know, we don't know what the long game is going to be with this. But I hope this is a power up that's got some substance for him, and wasn't just a quick thing. You know, because we all remember, you know, during the Cell Saga, you know, he got his power up and it went like nowhere. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, he was useless again in like 2 episodes.
It just
He
took 2
got
episodes
powered
of
up.
screaming, and that was it.
To basically
Buy some
get
cloth.
beat up.
Yeah. It's like, how many more Namex can this guy absorb?
At that point, it was Nell and Kami. I'm surprised he's not tried to absorb Dende yet.
He's like, hey, buddy, I need
How's it going?
need a little extra power. I'm just going to eat you.
Getting a little empty
Get
in
in my
here.
belly.
You look pretty tasty, boy.
Get in my belly.
Ooh, it's a baby. Get in the belly.
My baby back.
You know, and I'm sure it's been mentioned before, but I don't know that I ever realized that Piccolo never ate. You know, he specifically called that out and mentioned that in this.
Did. It was, I don't eat food.
I just drink water. I'm good. I'm like a plant. So are they plants? Are Namekians plants? You know?
See, I always thought that they were like a lizard kind of,
Yeah.
amphibian lizard type thing or something, reptilian or something.
Do they
I don't know why.
survive via photosynthesis?
Yeah.
But I mean, to regenerate, it could kind of go both ways. It could be plant-like, or the alternative,
This is true.
reptilian,
Very true.
So
amphibian.
yeah. Obviously, you know, and I know we're already kind of starting, you know, midway to tail end of the movie, but yeah, whatever. So all right, so here we go. We are adding a geek, special guest geek. We'll see if he wants to be a permanent staple. But tonight we have the Zesty Geek.
Perfect.
Hello.
with the Kirby and the knife. He gonna
That's a
cut.
dangerous Kirby.
That is it.
Yeah.
So yeah, welcome aboard the Zesty Geek.
Kirby woke up and chose violence.
Yes. I wanted to get the hyper realistic one where it's like where his arms and legs are like fingers, but I could not find it.
It's just
I don't know.
scary
That,
thought.
that
It's hysterical.
kind of scary sounding to me. Just
Yeah, that's pretty horrific.
Oh,
'Cause I don't know. You know,
it's
the
awful, but like it's also hilarious.
the plush Kirby with a butcher knife is also just as
It's terrifying.
is terrible.
If I
That's,
remember,
that's getting there.
I robbed this from a meme where it was like how girls under 5 foot look when they're threatening you.
Yep,
And there you go.
cute but deadly.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
ain't that cute?
So
But it's
yeah,
wrong.
everybody, welcome
Yep.
aboard the Zesty Geek. He saw the movie with us. We hadn't got too far. We've already tangented a few times.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much. So, so yeah, you know, we just kind of, you know, our format is we just talk, kind of as things kind of come to us. That's obviously it's why the tangents come so easily. But yeah, just kind of a general discussion is our format. So we were just talking about the power ups and you know how our boys finally got a little bit of love after, you know,
Yeah.
a long
After, like,
time,
a decade or two.
a very very
Oh,
long
man.
time.
Long time in the making for this, and it
Oh.
was something else. Though we probably ought to not really get ahead of ourselves, though, because I mean we kind of jumped right to the power up things. You know, it's like what exactly led to it? Why did they need it? What were they doing? What occurred? What was the big threat? You know.
Yeah,
What
so
brought it
you
all
know,
about?
red ribbon's back. You know, and I like how they, you know, and I get it. They didn't really cover it before, so it leaves a lot of room to make stuff up as you go. I love how there's just all these family members and cousins and you know, former roommates that show up
Yes.
and
Yes.
can continue to supplement the Red Ribbon Army.
Right.
And I did think it was pretty well done. And I even liked how they, you know, anybody who's paying attention, they canonized Android 21.
Yes. And it's what is it? It's Dr. Giros' wife, right? Or well,
Yeah.
significant other. I don't know if they verified that it's necessarily his wife, but
Right. You know, so, you know, her little quick image, you know, so she's canonized. But yeah, you know, Red Ribbon's back, you know, it's no surprise, it's anime, you know, they always find a way back in.
Well, we're hoping it's canonized because one of the discussions we had was where is this going to fit? Now,
is the movie
with,
actually canon?
you know, with the series, 'cause,
Well-
you know, there are talks of bringing the series back, right? So,
Right.
what are they going to use? Are they going to use some canonized things from the movie? Are they going to use the mangas, or you know, where is this
Well-
going?
You know, so we're already back to getting ahead of ourselves.
That's true.
You know what? We're gonna get there. Look, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you're gonna know where we are and all that. In my mind, I'm seeing this parked after, you know, the manga, and you know, obviously the manga's still going, and the show, you know, when it comes back, and there's no doubt it's coming back. I just figured they're just going. They played this in such a way that this will easily fit after whatever they do, and that's why Goku and Vegeta like didn't get involved. Because at this point, if they got involved based off of what's going on in the manga,
We wouldn't have a movie.
it'd been over in 2 minutes.
Well,
Done.
if you also notice, they talk about Jiren, so it is after the second
Yeah,
Tournament of Power arc.
I was going to say it was after the Tournament of Power. So
Yeah, so
Right.
But
so they
but
did
there's
fit it in mildly.
a little bit, but there's so much more that's still going on. I mean, you got Moro,
Granola.
the granola arc, the heaters, and literally broke the week that this movie came out. Frieza's back with an all new form. So,
well, I would hope so.
Lord knows he needs it because gold didn't last long.
I'm gonna say he didn't get much. He didn't get a whole lot of there wasn't a lot of ground gained. I mean, he went in with gold, but he was still
Yeah, so
he's still pretty
I mean,
pitiful.
he's pretty badass now.
Yeah, you leave my boy Freezer alone.
Yeah, he one
Freezy
shotted
Pop.
he one shotted our guys, and basically equivalent is basically he hopped in a hyperbolic time chamber for 10 years. So yeah, he's really up to speed.
Yep.
We'll see where that goes in the manga, but yeah, it's kind of
here's the question that I have to ask about that, because he was in the show, at the end of the show, he went back to his army,
right.
And so he was starting his whole ruler of the universe type thing, but not really, because he figured out that there's multiple universes.
Well,
and he's actually a small fish in a very, very, very big pond at that point.
Probably not anymore.
Right.
But at that point, he was, because I mean, yeah, he was stronger than a lot of the other fighters that they had to fight, but there was a few who took him to the cleaners. I mean,
here's the thing though, is if
Jiren being one of them.
If what he said that the superhero movie takes place after all the manga stuff, then that means that if they pick the series back up at the start of the mangas where they were at after the Tournament of Power, we're not going to see our powered up boys in the series for quite some time.
It's going to be a while.
It is going to be a long ass,
because there's no telling, because they're going. So the manga's going to take a break. After this big reveal, there's no telling how long this new arc is going to last. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a while. What I envision happening when they pick it back up is maybe they do like what they did at the start of Super. So I could see Broly being turned into the first episodes of The Return. Then they're going to roll into Moro. Then you're going to roll into Granola. Hopefully that buys enough clock that maybe you're near the end of this new Frieza thing, the universe's strongest, because there's supposedly something going on with that. So maybe by that point, that's wrapping up. Then we get into, superhero timeline. And then, because obviously, you give him this power up, you got to go somewhere with it.
Right.
Because we barely saw it.
But then
we don't know what he's capable of yet.
If they do that, that means that their power up is once again going to put them right back where they were.
Well,
just behind, 2 steps behind.
Just 2 steps behind. But we don't really get to see how good it is yet.
That's true.
I
think Piccolo showed his.
Piccolo's probably capped out again.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but
it's enough to get him in the game, and I hate it because I love Piccolo. But Gohan's, we ain't seen it yet.
We blinked and it was over.
Yeah.
And he didn't really get a lot of time to shine by himself when Piccolo jumped back into the fray. So,
the other thing was like the enemy, the Super Cell, or I don't even remember what it was called.
Cell Max.
Yeah, Cell Max was already damaged by the time Gohan unlocked the form. So we really, really didn't get to see it. Because like he was already injured. He just unlocked the form, and so like the fight was over in like the blink of an eye after that.
No time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good tangent. we'll go back to actually walking through the movie now.
Right.
So they bring in gosh, I'm drawing a blank now. Dr.
Magenta.
Giros.
Oh, Hito.
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 Dr. Hito.
Dr. Hito. Child prodigy.
Hito.
Whips up these androids overnight that are, I don't know, what I would say power wise at least equivalent to Super Saiyan Blue. Because even Ultimate Gohan,
I don't know that I would say Super Saiyan Blue.
Pretty darn close.
Because he, I mean, like, just looking at the first fight that you see with number 2 and Piccolo didn't really lose, but he also didn't really fight.
right?
He was more trying to gauge, like, okay, what are you doing here, and why are you wearing, obviously a Red Ribbon Army outfit?
And why can't I see your sounds?
Yeah, why can I see your sound?
And I loved how they explained that later.
Why can I see your sound? And then later they explained that it's hologram. He's making them, but
that was good. That was great.
I will say that I laughed quite a bit. I mean, a lot of that movie, really. I mean, there was parts of it that I was actually cackling for, because it was just so humorous. It was just like, it was campy, but it was that normal Dragon Ball campy from like the original series. So it was very nostalgic in that it was like, just like that from Piccolo. He's like, "Who are you? And why can I see your sounds? Or why can I see your attacks?"
And
I noticed they draw. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I noticed that this movie drew a lot from like the older series, like, because if you notice, like, in fight, it's just like the fight with Frieza. It's very similar, but then the enemy is also very similar to, like, the one from the third Broly movie that nobody likes, where he was just a big blob. He was just a big blob, like that didn't really talk, just grunted, and that was it.
I want to try and keep us on task here. I don't want to go that far yet. We'll get there.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But my main point was, like, it related to a lot of older Dragon Ball content, but while still being new and fresh.
Really, really good throwbacks. So I don't know what I mean. Maybe not Super Saiyan Blue, because Ultimate Gohan he handled them. It was, once he got back to that point, he was, because really he didn't go to his new form until Cell Max.
Maybe Super Saiyan God.
Yeah, I mean Goku and Vegeta would have walked all over him, but
he was handling them. That was the thing, is he was fighting and he was holding his own against, the two. Well, number 1 and number 2, I guess. Sounds like a bathroom joke, but he was holding his own. He was, and he wasn't even Super Saiyan 3 level.
One of the Ultimate goes beyond 3, though, doesn't it? Ultimate Gohan is higher than the Super Saiyan 3. Is my understanding.
Well,
higher or at least on par. Because I thought when he got left off, it was after he had his was it Dende, or who was it that unlocked his power? It was one of the Kais.
Yeah, it was the Elder Kai.
The Elder Kai.
Yeah,
he unlocked him.
That was
I'm getting my names right. It's been a while since I've watched Buu Saga.
Mystic Gohan.
Mystic Gohan.
That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah,
and Gohan had his power unlocked twice.
Yeah, well, but I mean, the thing, he hit Mystic Gohan, and he never, like, he went Super Saiyan, but after that, he didn't have, like, you didn't ever see a progression from like that to Super Saiyan 2 or Super Saiyan 3.
Well, you did see 2. He was 2 when he fought and killed Cell.
Yeah.
He was
So-
also too in the Boo arc, like when they did the Tenkai Jabukai.
Yeah, that's
How'd that go again?
I think that's how you say it, right? That's the true like Japanese way to say it, right?
Bless you.
I know it's but anyway, yeah, like when he gets his
anyway,
power
That's-
sapped
go ahead,
by
say it
whatever
again.
his name.
I just
I
want to
think
hear you
it's-
say it again.
I think it's Tenkai Jabukai. I think that's
Jabudikai?
close. No, Jabudakai.
Jabudakai.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
The voice is looking it up.
No, I'm not looking that up. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were.
I don't
he's
know how to
looking
begin to
at Budokai.
spell
He's looking at Budokai.
Yeah, I know.
Booty. Ooh, look at that.
Budokai. I'm gonna look at that.
But yeah, but when he was fighting in that, because he went, because he showed, what was it, Kibito, or I can only remember him as the tall red one.
Deborah.
Yeah.
No, the other Supreme Kai.
Oh
Or
yeah,
the
Kabuto,
Supreme
I
Kais.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
basically, because when Gohan was fighting him, he's like, "This is a Super Saiyan, and this is a Super Saiyan 2." And it's like,
Oh, you're talking about when Goku, explains
yeah.
to
And so
Babidi.
right before Gohan gets his power sapped by one of the Boo minions or whatever his name was.
But I don't know. I would park Ultimate on par or around 3. Now let's just be honest. Super Saiyan 3 will never exist for anyone else because no one wants to draw that. That's the only reason Goku doesn't go 3, except for once in a blue moon when they want to,
I feel like the thing was Mystic Gohan wasn't or Ultimate Gohan or whatever it wasn't quite as powerful as 3, but 3 didn't last very long because it consumed so much power.
It consumed a lot of energy.
And
But I
so-
mean, 3 did a decent job holding against Kid Buu, who was the ultimate form of Buu. So,
and that's where I say they're on par because of the fact, Mystic Gohan can last a lot longer than 3 can.
Yeah.
Well, I would
so
say
anyway,
ultimate. If you're saying ultimate,
or
I've heard I've heard variations, Mystic and Ultimate.
so what are, just so I can get it straight and I say it right, which one are we using?
I will accept either.
Okay, fair enough.
well,
Yes.
Mystic was what he had. It like basically in place of Super Saiyan 3. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Mystic was what he had in place of Super Saiyan 3. Ultimate, I think, is what he had in this movie. In Superhero.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree to that.
So at the end of
Okay,
Superhero,
if you Google
that was Ultimate
Mystic
Gohan.
Gohan,
Sorry.
if you Google Mystic Gohan, you get Ultimate Gohan.
Well, that's
Really?
goofy.
Maybe they're one and the same.
I think they are. And honestly, that may be a translation thing as
Well,
well.
he's not Ultimate though. He just got more power unlocked.
You shut your dirty mouth. He is ultimate.
Okay, hang on.
I don't need that
there,
kind
so
of
there is a
negativity
new
in my
form.
life.
Jones is back into the Gohan hype.
The new form does have a name.
I want to think it was Gohan White.
According to the Dragon Ball wiki, and I know wikis can sometimes be undependable.
See, I'm seeing for Mystic Gohan, I'm seeing like him in the Buu arc, just no hair color change, just the lightning.
Let's see here. Gohan Beast.
Really?
Yeah,
That's what they're
yeah.
going with, huh?
Gohan. It's coming up quite a bit, actually. Gohan Beast form explained. So, yeah.
Beast form, huh? All right, so I did a search. What is the difference between Mystic Gohan and Ultimate Gohan? And it says they're two different names for the same form, with Ultimate
Gotcha.
being the official name for the form, but Mystic being so ingrained in the fandom that it's just stuck around after all this time.
And so, I know most of you guys like, you caught the U.S. release as it aired. I was a little bit earlier on the Dragon Ball, ship, train, whatever. So Ultimate is what sticks to me, because I caught those, I scoured the internet for those early episodes, as much as I could before a lot of it came over. But then also, one of the early or original Japanese figures had Ultimate Gohan on it for that form. The god awful, horrible figures that literally the only things their arms could move up and down. They had no articulation. They were basically statues, but it was the only thing out at the time. You had to go to like Japanese import, anime stores. But yeah, so that's where Ultimate has stuck with me. And yeah, I thought Mystic was always just a Funimation, translation
Flub.
thing. Yeah.
Well, maybe they were just talking about him and his Kai get up.
His fancy attire.
His fancy tire.
See, funny enough, you're making fun of Funimation, but I watched where I first watched it when I was a kid was on 4Kids on like the CW 4Kids on like Saturday mornings. And so I got to see it one episode, or no, it was like 2 or 3 episodes a week, every week. And so,
heaven forbid you hit 2 or 3 episode streak where they're doing nothing but standing there screaming, powering up.
Yeah, you're not
what a
joking.
waste of a week.
Because it was funny because they would actually do it in sequential order. And so it's like, 1 week was literally the Frieza arc was miserable, even as a kid. It's like you're so hyped, but at the same time, you're like, I really wish they'd just stop screaming.
I know everybody goes on and on about the Frieza arc, but honestly, it's one of my least favorite because of the pacing, because of the setup with the screaming. And I know everybody, like I said, you talk to anybody, it's like it's the ultimate, the pinnacle and of all Dragon Ball Z and all this. And I'm just like, I got wore out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, like, and honestly, that's why I'm kind of a big, and I know Dragon Ball Z Kai has its detractors and people that aren't fans of it. That's why I loved Kai so much. Was it really made the Frieza arc way more bearable. And
that's what I watched was the Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Oh, you got off easy then.
You got easy, yeah.
But
that original Funimation run was, oh my heavens,
but
would you hurry up?
But to be fair, later on, I went back and because that was how I discovered Dragon Ball. Then I went back online and I started going through all the original Dragon Balls, and that was like when I discovered that, Kid Goku existed. Like,
oh yeah.
And then I was like, so I watched all of that in like a summer, and then I watched, all the way back through Dragon Ball Z, like the actual Dragon Ball Z, not Z Kai.
Well, and that's honestly that's most of us. Z was the hook over here.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball was an after the fact for most of us.
I can remember Dragon Ball coming on in the mornings, and occasionally would catch it in the mornings before leaving to go to school.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about the original
Dragon Ball,
the original dub run that they only did the first 13 episodes.
Yeah,
and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, no, I remember that too.
You got nothing of the like the actual clash they had with the Red Ribbon Army or any of that. You just
and you think back to Z, and good Lord, I know we are way off track here, but whatever. At this point, that's us. I remember Z, the horror of getting all the way through, half of the Ginyu fight, and Raccoon gets taken out, and you're like, what is this? What has Goku got now? What, man, holy crap. Next episode, it's the first episode again. And that went on for years, getting cut off after, Goku one-shots Raccoon. And you're just... That was
I
brutal.
experienced that too. Except mine was after the Frieza arc because I don't know if the Boo arc had finished it or if they had gotten a hold of the Boo arc yet. But it would just reset back to the beginning of the Saiyan saga after the Frieza arc.
Yeah.
And so I got stuck like in this loop of Saiyan Saga, Frieza arc, Saiyan Saga, Frieza arc, and I was like,
What?
"This is miserable."
So and that actually may be another reason that some of us, I think, kind of, got wore out because with the timing of dubbing and getting everything ready, we did have to spin our tires for a long time in the Frieza Saga. Whereas this was just constantly cranking out in Japan. They didn't have to go through this. So, maybe that's why some of us kind of don't care for Frieza Saga as much. Not Frieza the character, but just the saga as a whole and how long it takes to get through it. And then we just kept resetting it.
I remember when I started collecting the DVD. Remember Deep Discount DVD?
Mm-hmm.
I was collecting the DVDs, the box sets. And I started collecting, and I got the first couple box sets for Dragon Ball Z, and then I hit the Frieza arc. Yeah, the like all the other box sets, there was like it took 3 box sets to equal the amount, like size wise, of what was in the Frieza arc. It was ridiculous.
Well, and that was the point. They really started nickel and diming us with 3-episode DVDs at $30 a freaking pop. And if you were lucky, you got a 4-episode one. But most of them were about 3.
You would do 3 episodes, and then like usually on like the last DVD, they'd throw 4.
Yeah. That was
so that they wouldn't have to put one episode on the DVD by itself.
Yeah.
We'll give you a bonus.
Oh, yeah. Those were the dark days of anime. And I'm not unsympathetic because I get it took a lot of money and resources, to kind of get that machine started,
And anime wasn't what it was back then, like what it is now.
What it is now, right.
No,
so I'm not completely unsympathetic. I guess in some ways I'm glad, I paid it. I supported it. We were pioneers, kids these days, congratulations. This is why anime is what it is now.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Because we paid for 3 episodes at $30.
I'll go get my Outlaw Star DVD box set.
Man, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
And I'll just tell you right now, I
haven't ever
turn
heard
off
that
the filter
name.
so that you could get a good view of it. But it is like, it's kind of janky. You can tell it's like somebody,
Now you can spend $20 and you get the whole Outlaw Star
bootleg
series.
I mean, it looked bootleg.
Yeah. But anyway, so kind of traversing on back into superhero and the movie.
But we digress.
I'll toss this out there. I did like all the scenes with Piccolo sneaking around in the Red Ribbon Army.
Yes.
I will say that was some of my favorite parts of the movie. It was just hilarious.
You're looking a little green there. Had some trouble in the bathroom.
Something I ate.
So much restraint from Piccolo.
I really enjoyed those parts of the movie.
I love that he held the phone by the top with 2 fingers.
I know. I noticed that too.
Yeah, I was like,
the phone like this.
It was like, he couldn't, and he's like FaceTiming Bulma. It's like FaceTiming, holding it like this.
Here's an interesting something.
Yeah,
I picked up on with this. Anybody else get the vibe that Piccolo was trying to correct a mistake that Goku did with Gohan? By not necessarily always, because the running gag has always been Goku is a terrible father, Piccolo's the real dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so did anybody else get the vibe that, Piccolo's kind of like, okay, I watched your dad do this to you, Gohan, don't do your daughter this way. Get in there. And I mean,
I can see that.
Anybody else pick up on that?
I didn't at the time, but now that you've mentioned it, yeah, that makes sense.
That jumped out at me like, look, I raised your butt because your dad was off fighting all these dudes.
Or he was dead.
Don't do
but
that
yeah.
to your daughter.
or he's dead.
Yeah.
Or
Good job.
he was dead half the time waiting for the Dragon Balls to come back.
I think Goku has spent more time dead than he has with Gohan.
Probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, just something that popped into my head during the movie. I thought, okay, Piccolo's trying to course correct Gohan here and prevent him from doing the same thing. Even though Gohan wasn't fighting, he was still being absorbed into something else other than his child.
Ants.
And yet here again, Piccolo's training his child, Gohan's child.
It's true. That's
The
how it opened
grandfather
up.
is raising the children once again.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's training Pan at the very start of the dang movie.
Yeah.
And having to pick her up from daycare and stuff.
Babysitting.
Just a
Yeah.
little something that jumped out at me.
Oh, those dang plushies. I love the plushies.
That was pretty funny.
You want me to get another plushie? One was enough.
No, one was too many.
One was too many. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
Well, don't worry, I'll get you another one of those plushies. But one was too many. He sounded like so defeated when he said it too. He's like, I can't.
I also like this phone case. It was a kitty. It was a cat.
Yeah, his
Purple
cat.
cat phone case.
Very fitting of Piccolo. Oh, another really good reoccurring gag, and it's one of my favorite, is Piccolo can't drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Flying
so-
the ship.
The callback.
Yeah, and so I immediately thought back to that like filler episode where him and Goku are trying to get driver's license, and they're like racing each other all across the city.
Back when they were
tearing
training
everything
for the androids.
up. Yes.
Yep.
Yep. It's like Goku, because I remember watching the abridged series, and it was literally like they beat the crap out of Gohan till he's unconscious, and then they leave to go, like get their driver's license.
Wonderful
And-
father figure.
Yeah. it's like
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's kind of funny, but Vegeta is actually the best dad of all of them.
yup.
Go
Well-
figure.
Well, I mean, you remember like when in Dragon Ball Super when Bola was born, he was like anybody who made her cry, he like literally turned Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like he is objectively the best
Well,
father
he
in
was
the
a-
series.
And husband.
Yeah.
You remember Beerus slaps Bulma.
And
Mhm.
Vegeta
Yeah.
is just about self goes God as himself.
He
Yeah.
was the only other father that is even mildly good is like Krillin. Krillin's a good
Yeah.
dad, but like
That's only because
But it-
13 would.
absolutely
he's
wreck
got
his crap.
13.
That's true. Or 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. 18. 18. Good Lord. Yeah.
That would be an entirely different show,
Yeah.
like Law and Order.
Um,
Dun.
But yeah, so so we get on to the big fight. They get their power ups. They whoop the androids. I like how they use these two androids, and even Giros. I'm awful with names.
Hito.
Hito. I liked
Hito.
how they
Hito.
frame them as not really entirely bad guys.
Yeah.
And set them up even for future usage.
Yep.
Um,
One of my only disappointments was Dr. Hito loved superheroes, and there was never a reveal that Gohan was Saiyaman.
that would have been cool.
That I was literally the entire time watching it, I was thinking, oh, he's gonna reveal that he's the great Saiyaman, and Dr. Hito's gonna like convert
his mind.
sides and lose his mind. Yeah. And it never happened. And I was like, well, it was still
That-
okay. Like the way they did it was still well done, and I was still happy with it. I was just slightly disappointed it didn't happen the way I wanted it.
So, I'll use that as a lead in. That's kind of a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I also feel like it was a missed opportunity with Cell Max.
Oh, yes. They could have made him an absolute genius, and they could have made him like perfect Cell, but better.
I feel like there was too much left on the table. Because in my mind, I would have had him absorb the two superhero androids in a similar fashion to the Cell arc. And then we get this non-monstrosity, this mindless monster. And we get, basically a truly evolved form of Perfect Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was left on the table. I don't know that I agree with that creative decision.
I didn't either. I mean, because the thing is the original Cell, the unperfect Cell, having absorbed one android, was more intelligent and calm, and actually spoke and thought and had plans and strategies and things like that. Whereas Cell Max, he came out in that form like he had already absorbed an android, but I mean, he looked like that, but he was huge. He was like King Kongish, red, and just mindless.
I think what they were going for was like exactly like the same in the Broly movie. He wasn't finished yet. And like they said that like you have no control over him. He's not finished yet. He'll just be a mindless monster who kills everything.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the thing, was they were going for a mindless monster with unstoppable power. And I mean, but I agree. Like I still feel like it was a missed opportunity, because they could have made him like Kid Buu, still intelligent,
right?
But like he just didn't care,
right?
Like he just wanted to kill.
And the other side of that too is for so many years since we've had this evolved, since we've had Golden Frieza, so many fans have been clamoring for, for lack of a better term, basically an equivalent of a Golden Perfect Cell, or whatever they went with. And then to wrap that up so quickly. Now I don't know, Cell had that issue, or not issue, but that benefit of if one cell remained, he wasn't done. You could always maybe leave it hanging that something survived, and that evolves into something maybe in a future series or future movie. But it was just wrapped up so quick and so easy. I feel like that was a missed opportunity.
I also feel like they were more focused on other things in this movie. Like they were more focused on getting Gohan his power up and giving him some like, much needed love
Juice.
after so long. Whereas they kind of got distracted from like the rest of it. They were like, so we know we want to do this. We're going to build the rest of the story around that. And so they lost, like the bigger picture. Like rather than build a movie step by step, they were like, this is what we want to have happen. We just need to build the rest of the movie to that point.
Right. It was definitely a setup movie.
Yeah.
And I think we're far enough along now in discussion. Where I feel like, it's like we haven't really seen what Beast Mode Gohan is going to be about.
Mm-hmm.
And even in my head, and I've seen on like Reddit and other places, and I agree with this assessment. This could be leading to, maybe Earth has its own self-contained group of defenders and heroes, and maybe this was about powering Piccolo and Gohan up for future things, while Vegeta and Goku are off fighting gods and everything else. But no, it was definitely a setup movie, because you got to think too. We've got one of these androids left, around as well. And Hito is obviously on the good side now. You know, you've introduced all these characters that you can now bring back for future stories and that sort of thing. So, you know, it's almost like, you know, Goku and Vegeta can go do their thing, but now you can go back to maybe having the Z Fighters and the Earth Defense Force, you know, what they used to be, and do something with them that doesn't always have to include Goku and Vegeta saving the day.
Here's a thought. Now that Hito at the end is now working with Capsule Corps, what would happen with Hito if he got a hold of 17 and 18, was able to do something with them? What could he
power
do
up for them? Yeah.
Right?
Power up for them.
That's a thought too. So you'd have 17, 18, and Gamma 1.
But you gotta be careful. You go too far. Is there, you know, could you leave a hook in there? And it's a total fan theory. Do you leave a hook in there that you accidentally create Super 17 and 17 becomes a bad guy again? That was one of the few gems that come out of GT, you know, the Super 17 story, you know.
Well, also, if they do bring back Super 17, there's an extra layer there because 17 has a wife and a kid in this one. And so if they manage to convert the good 17, there's an even more of that, because, you know, like, they can introduce the kid and the wife and the drama with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they would have an excellent story there.
Well, overall, there's a lot more story out there, you know, and I mean, and I toss Super 17 out there, but I mean, let's just be honest. I think at this point, there's no way that you can bring GT back into the fold. At this point, there's no way you can line GT back up with what's happened and not throw out some magical bullshit to erase Super, and then suddenly GT makes sense. GT is totally out there now. I just don't see it happening. Now, maybe they'll, you know, like I said, Super 17, maybe even Super Saiyan 4. You know, there's still room to maybe bring something back, but there's just no way you line GT up with where we are.
It would be neat to see like a reference to it, like the Super Saiyan 4, like, because they could totally, like, in like Goku and Vegeta's quest for, you know, discovering new forms and discovering like what their bloodline was capable of, accidentally stumbling on Super Saiyan 4, but then they discover, well, it's just a direct upgrade, whereas the Super Saiyan God is a substantial form change, you know? So, like, they could still, like, just reference it, but it would never be able to take the place of Super Saiyan God or Ultra Instinct or Vegeta's, you know, Super Saiyan. What are they calling it now? It's like
he's Ultra Ego.
Yeah, and
his tree. You know, so it's, you know, you've got you know, Goku's going down the instinct tree, and then Vegeta's going down kind of the destruction path.
Yeah, and then you got Gohan somewhere in there,
right? You know, how does that line up? So,
and
there's so much room for this franchise to keep growing, and honestly, it makes me happy. Now, overall, I mean, nitpicks aside, I mean, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Again, compared to most of what, you know, we're doing stateside in Hollywood, Japan just continues to knock it out with their stuff. They know their audience, they feed them well, and yeah, I still felt like a kid, not really a kid, you know, high schooler. Yeah, that's when we watched. That's when we watched Z.
Just the opening scenes were worth it for me.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like they're knocking it.
Oh,
kind of Dragon Ball and then Dragon Ball Z. A little bit, you know, a little bit in there.
Explaining the backstory.
Yeah,
what led up to everything.
They respect that. They respect what, you know. They respect the franchise. They respect the fans. So I look forward to everything that's coming. You know, that's coming, and I'm going to continue to be a Dragon Ball fan. You know, even for those that think that we should have grew out of it several years ago or 20 years ago.
Just like video games, we're not growing out of that.
Yeah.
just real quick, before I forget again, we were talking about like how Mystic Gohan is like its own thing now. Uh, what I was just like this is completely out there, but what if the humans actually do have their own form? I forget who said something earlier, but it made me think about that. Like, because the whole reason why Gohan and all the other half Saiyans are special is because they're half human. So, what if there was actually something in the human genetics that made them have that?
Let's tell you what. Let's not go down that road because
Yeah.
let's not give Yamcha an excuse to actually be worth something.
Be useful. Well, it's more for like
Wait a minute, but
Krillin,
he's not half
Krillin and
Saiyan.
Master Roshi.
Yamcha's not.
We have not awakened Yamcha's powers yet. Damn it! Let's help this boy.
Krillin,
Or
Tien,
Tien.
Yamcha.
Yeah, but like, imagine if like, cause like like the beast mode of Gohan is like that's the Super Saiyan influence. But what if the Mystic Gohan is the human influence?
Right.
And so, like,
Well,
if like say Krillin and Tien and Master Roshi were able to unlock a similar form, like just a mystic or an ultimate form, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I mean, if anybody, Roshi. I
Yeah.
mean, it was even implied, I think, during the Tournament of Power that Roshi would have been the closest one to actually possibly do Ultra Instinct because he was so in tune with,
His own genetics and everything, and
right, and not thinking and just going with that flow. That's kind of the principle behind it. And I can't remember, but there was an episode, I think they sort of, and maybe I'm misremembering, but yeah, they sort of implied that Roshi would have been the one probably closest to it.
um
And that's the thing. Ultra Instinct is not it's not exclusive to Saiyans.
yeah,
Unlike the Super Saiyan tree and all that. This is a technique, the gods use, the angels use. So Roshi could be the boy.
yeah.
He could be the man,
But
but
that was just a thing of, like what if there is like actually something that the humans can aspire to just beyond being side characters.
right. Well, and that's that is one of the kind of the faults of Dragon Ball is they've, outside of a handful of characters, when they're done with them, they're just kind of done with them.
Yep.
And some of them get power ups and they don't get very far. And that's one of the things I've always appreciated about Bleach is, Ichigo's your main guy, but you never felt like all the other, captains were underpowered and just washed away. They got their due time. They got awesome fights. They got to take out guys. That's what I always love about Bleach is they always respected their side characters. You never felt like we do with Z.
Yeah, like the other thing too with Bleach and stuff is like those characters had actual, they still had development, and a lot of like the reason why Ichigo was even able to fight him was because they underestimated him.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they never showed their full power at the start because they were still underestimating him. So there was room to grow, and like you said, there was always a progression, and you never felt like the characters were discarded after he reached a certain power level.
Right. So, yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything?
Well, I do think we'd be doing it a disservice if we mentioned what some of our little critiques were without mentioning some of the things that I think maybe they did good or did well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Gohan's ultimate form, just kind of go through a little list here. When he got his ultimate form, they mimicked what they did in the Cell Saga. The background, the red line, and he just snapped. Boom.
I did. You're right. I do because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going full Cell Saga. Yeah. No, I did love that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I think that was a good touch.
The only thing that would have made that perfect is if they'd played the song. And granted, I don't know if they'd have had time and if it may have broke it, but if they had played the song when he goes Super Saiyan 2,
it's like the song in Bleach. Like, it's as soon as you hear the song, you know what's going down. Like, it's happening.
right?
Yeah. But the other thing too is like we were talking earlier, like Drew from other things, it felt like. And that scene where he transformed and the scene where Gamma 2 sacrificed himself, I was thinking way back to like the Frieza Saga when they used the spirit bomb and then you know all of a sudden, the enemy came back after they thought they killed it, and somebody had to die in order for another person to rise up to finally finish him off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it felt really like the end of the Frieza Saga. It felt like very similar while still being very different.
Yeah.
I also like how they went in and they took away all the little things that people would use to pick it apart. Why didn't they just use the Dragon Balls to do this? Or why didn't they just do it to do that?
Like,
that whole
yeah,
scene.
Yeah, they had a whole scene, like at the beginning with Bulma's like, why don't you just wish for the red ribbon already be gone? And then and Piccolo just goes, ah, and he just like clicks his tongue.
I did appreciate that. That was pretty
Yeah.
nice. Like look, the Dragon Balls, they're good plot armor, but you can't think of everything.
Right. And it also explained why Bulma still looks so young.
Oh yeah. You don't hear
I-
Vegeta complaining,
No.
Yeah. Well, he probably would.
So here we go.
Be
Here
very in trouble
Pause.
if he did.
Positives. All right, you're on this train. End of the movie, Vegeta gets the fucking win.
Yep.
Oh
Boom.
yes.
That
Okay,
was the
you
other
can tell,
one.
You can
That's
tell
right.
who the Gohan guy is. You can tell who the Vegeta guy is. Oh, that was like forever in the making.
My
It's
my
like,
only thing
yes!
is like it was just barely, but yeah, he still won, and it was.
Broly sitting there just bawling.
And so was the what was his name? The chef. I can't
Yeah.
even think of his
Yeah.
name. And he was bawling too, and then she's like, "Men." It's like it was beautiful.
That end credits clip was like amazing.
Of course, I did find I thought it was very humorous that that Beerus has a type.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I horse laughed so much on that.
Hey,
I
he's-
absolutely was cracking up so hard.
Deep down, he's
I think
another
it's-
Master Roshi character. He's just a cat.
I think it's even better that Whis knows his type, meaning that this has happened multiple times before.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think about that, but I guess that's your type. What? No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So
Shut up and eat your ice cream.
So funny thing, we were earlier tonight. I was talking with Lazy, and we actually have we had our tie-in to this episode. Last week was the Double Dragon episode. This week is the Dragon Ball episode.
Dragon.
Dragon. Exactly.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon. Rock the Dragon Balls. I'm
Ball
sorry.
Z.
I will forever love that original opening
Yes.
for the U.S. Rock the Dragon.
You said Dragon. I immediately went to it.
Yeah, that's the Dragon.
Rock the Dragon Ball Z.
That was the other thing. They started playing that in the mornings too. Like later, I guess I was up in high school when they started playing that on in the mornings.
Yeah.
And I just remember turning that on or having it on, and that song started up. So
look, I as a purist of this content, I do love the Japanese openings. But man, that opening they had for us, like there was no better way to get us wrapped into it at that age.
Get
I
hyped.
felt like there wasn't a single opening that I listened to that wasn't super catchy, super good, and like because all of them had their own like charm and they were all really good.
Well, and
I
you know,
really enjoyed them.
with our opening, with the Rock the Dragon opening, they just the way they cut that, because they used clips from the series and from the first 3 movies that were out for forever, and then they ended it with the like the Cell Saga group shot where everybody was there together, and you saw the Super Saiyan and all this other stuff. It's like, whoa, wait, what?
What is that?
That don't happen for a while.
But yeah, I mean, there was just no better opening that got you pumped for this back then. So all right, here we go. Where does this land in we'll say your top 5 Dragon Ball movies? What are your top 5 Dragon Ball movies?
God,
I
I hate you.
I've got to sit here for a second and think.
I'll think about
all
it.
the Dragon Ball Z movies.
Think
'cause-
about it a minute.
Hate you.
Hold up. Let me.
Um,
I'm gonna have to Google a list because I've watched them all. I've just got to think what all there is.
Now, some of them, I don't know, the continuity or timing or just the overall, I'll say my worst. I hate Bio Broly.
Yes. Yes. That's I can't tell you how much this cell reminds me of Bio Broly.
Yeah. But with that being said, it's not that bad a mark on this movie.
No.
Because this movie was at least enjoyable compared to Bio Broly. But I don't mean that as too bad of a knock on this movie. I mean, this movie still rates really high because of all these other factors.
Real quick, so are we doing just Dragon Ball? Are we doing Dragon Ball or just Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball.
I mean, if you've got a Dragon Ball movie that is your top 5, I'm not going to stop you. I mean,
fair enough.
All 21 movies or whatever I said earlier. 21st. Yeah, 21 movies. So, I'm not, top 5. What do you got? What do you got? On the spot.
Because I'm looking through them right now.
I will.
And there's actually is one or two that I haven't seen that I thought I had.
I like Resurrection F.
Yes, that was a good one.
I thought that one was very funny.
I know this is weird, but I really like the metal cooler one. Do you remember that one? The one where they go back to Namek and there's like 50 coolers.
Cooler's Revenge.
Yes. Revenge, yeah.
Because that's the first one that Vegeta appears in. And they both go full Super Saiyan.
But the other thing is, part of that is because of the abridged series, because they keep playing the clip where he gets punched in the dick. And so he gets punched in the dick like 16 times in the abridged series, and it's great. And so that's part of the reason why that one's one of my favorites. Partially, I actually really just like the Tree of Might. I like the fact of it's like Goku fighting Goku, and
Tree of Might is I'll give you that one. That one is a good favorite of mine as well. Especially, so that kind of comes from the original dub cast.
Yeah.
For the show. We stopped at the first 3 movies back in the day. And I know that a lot of the Funimation actors have grown, and they've grown well with their roles, both in Dragon Ball and other anime. but I will always have a soft spot for the original dubcast. And still to this day, I think Brian Druman is the better Vegeta. Sorry. And if
I know.
anybody's unfamiliar with him, he was also Zex Marquise in Gundam Wing.
Mm.
But he is still my favorite Vegeta. I've never gotten over that shock when Funimation took over and hired their own actors away from the Ocean actors. But Triamat is to me it's a good one. It's a fun one, and it's also
Yeah.
one that you get to see all the Z guys in action.
Yes.
Yep.
One of my all-time favorites, and this is actually probably one of my top ranking because I like all three series, is the Toriko X One Piece X Dragon Ball Z. They did a collaboration special with all three series, and it had Luffy, Toriko, and Goku all in the same series, and it was actually super fun. It was only 43 minutes, but I remember watching it and enjoying the absolute crap out of it.
Heck, I'm not even familiar with that.
Yeah, it was. It came out in 2013.
Okay.
But I remember watching that, like, I want to say I watched that probably around 2015 because I remember I watched it in English, so it had to have been dubbed. Um, and then to round it out, probably the new Broly movie. The new Broly movie was probably one of my favorites. The only other one that I'd say it kind of, I know this is going to be controversial, but I really like the Dragon
You
Ball
controversial?
the Dragon Ball GT, A Hero's Legacy, where it's about Goku's grandson
Okay.
or great
Actually,
grandson.
I remember that one too, and that one I did like.
Yeah, and because it wasn't,
There's no controversy here, at least with
okay.
us. No,
I
you good, man.
I enjoyed that one. It wasn't. It was different. It was very different from your typical Dragon Ball movie because it was less about the fights and it was more about the legacy of Goku as he was moving into the next space and letting it pass on to the future generation.
Right.
And I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that because Goku only has a brief moment in that entire movie, and it's just to say, "Hey, you're doing a good job, champ."
Well,
Yeah.
and I think you hit on something. I would say that I think for most of us, the better of the Dragon Ball movies are the ones that maybe slow down a little bit.
Hmm.
And that's why I think most of the super movies or super related, Z Battle of the Gods, Z Resurrection F,
Yes.
kind of rank up there because they have a little bit more of that polish. Whereas the earlier Z and Dragon Ball movies, at the time, the way they did this, it was like that quick tie-in. They didn't necessarily have to follow canon. Whereas these new ones, they're following some canon. They're integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap, lost my train of thought. Never mind. Continue.
4.
Yeah,
Oh.
4. Yeah. Oh, the where Beerus first comes in. So, Battle of Gods.
Battle of Gods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at the very end, where Goku and Goku's transformation has run out. He's out. He's done. And Beerus is about to like decimate him and the entire planet. He stops and he says, "I just want to hear you say it." And Goku's like, "Huh?" And he's like, "I just want to hear you say that you've lost." And he says, "Well, you know what, Beerus? I have lost. You are really truly live up to the name of the god of destruction." And he like it's an entire tone change because it goes from Goku fighting for his life and his world and his family to it's okay now. It's over. He's not, everything's good. and so it was like an entire tone change. And those movies, like you said, those movies do that, when they're able to do a tone change and do it well, it really makes the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't say all of the super movies make my top 5,
Yeah.
but it definitely helps. There's some old ones that get high, they're still rank high, even if they don't
Mhm.
match continuity, because they were so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just so much more development. I get what you're saying with Battle of the Gods. It was different, and it was good for the series. It brought a lot of people back. When, I mean, let's be honest, we were at a point we thought Dragon Ball had left our lives. It's
Yeah.
not coming back, And here
Yeah.
we are again, getting to enjoy this stuff.
After Z ended, and then they started up GT, and I watched a little bit of GT, and I was just like, what the heck? Well, okay, whatever. And then I just kind of dropped off. I dropped off of it for a while.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to come back to it other than you want to revisit.
And then I heard I heard that GT ended, and I was like, well, okay, they're done. And then all of a sudden we get this announcement like, hey, guess what? They're bringing it back. They're going to do a new series that's a continuation called Dragon Ball Super, and it was just like, ooh.
Well, first they announced a movie. They were
but I mean, they announced the movie, and then I guess once they got enough traction, they decided they were going to go ahead and move forward with actually doing a series.
Because if I remember correctly, what is his name? Is it Akira Toriyama?
Yes.
Yeah. He was so upset with Z. He hated it so much, or not Z, GT. He hated GT so much. He was like, "We've got to make I got to make a movie just so that I can retcon that entire trash of a series." And I was like,
absolutely, I don't blame him.
But the thing was, I actually kind of enjoyed Z or GT. And the thing was, at that time, I was so starved for Dragon Ball content. It's like,
right.
I was like, I want to see this end. It can't just end with the, what was his name? The guy that Boo reincarnated into.
Oob.
Yes, because it was Boo
backwards.
backwards.
He's out there.
He is.
Yeah.
He's somewhere around the corner. Wait for it. Oob's coming. You know he is.
And that's my thing. Is like they just ended the series with Oob, and they're like, and that it's like him and Goku fighting. They didn't even show the full fight. They just show that it happened. Okay, it was like Rocky, bye for now.
The Rock, like Rocky, where they come up and punch each other both in the face, and
Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like,
ding,
and
ding.
It was like, you get done and you're like, is that it? No, there's got to be more. And so then I found GT, and I watched GT start to finish in like under a month.
Well, God bless you for those first 30 episodes, man. Good God.
It was.
You were desperate.
I was, dude. Then again,
look, I don't mean to knock GT too hard. The first half is notoriously slow and miserable. The back half comes together because it comes back to what you're used to from Z. But yeah. I
actually kind of enjoyed the baby arc. I know a lot of people hate that, but the baby arc, I enjoyed it because it was like Cell, but on a whole nother level, because it was like the final Bleach arc where all of Ichigo's friends turn against him slowly, and it breaks him down piece by piece. It was the same thing with the baby arc, because all of Goku's friends and family slowly turn against him. All the people he grew up with, he loves, he knew. And so it was a very dark turn for a very lighthearted series.
Yeah.
Before, the worst thing that could happen is, we're going to blow up the planet, everybody dies, but it's kind of instant. So, But like with the baby arc, it was very much more of a mental, like, hey, I'm gonna convert everybody you know and love into my loyal slave.
It definitely took a dark twist
Yeah.
with how they approached it. Yeah.
GT was very much a darker series, especially with like the dragons and stuff.
Oh
'Cause
gosh, yeah, those
'cause
last few episodes were rough.
the dragons were, it's like it makes perfect sense. It's like all the negative energy of all the horrible wishes that people have and evil desires that people have wanted out of the Dragon Balls.
And now
Like,
we've
that
got
makes
20 different
sense.
flavors of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
You can just pick whichever balls you want to wish on.
Yeah. And it's like,
I'm gonna wish on your balls.
Earth balls, galactic balls, universe balls,
Let me
Yeah.
upgrade
Namekian
Dragon
balls.
Balls real quick.
But-
Super balls.
Wait a minute.
that
You
was
can
the
do
other
that?
thing was GT came out in a time period before I really discovered what anime was.
Right.
I wasn't really introduced to anime until like Lazy introduced me to like I had watched anime, but it was all like the 24 episode to 12 episode series. It's like the short ones. It wasn't until Lazy introduced me to One Piece.
Oh gosh.
Speaking of which,
Listen,
The
I
anime
I know
that-
discovered.
I
It
said
goes
that I'd start
on and on and on.
Yeah,
It
I
just goes
watched-
on and on, my friends.
There were 989 episodes at the time that I started watching. And I also discovered Bleach in that same time frame. I
Mhm.
binged Bleach and One Piece in like 2 months. Like start to finish. I skipped some of the filler in some of them.
As you should.
Yes. But like I
Some of
still
that was
cleared
awful.
probably easily 900 episodes of anime in like 2 or 3 months.
You got more willpower than I do.
Well, I
And more
was
time.
I was like
True.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
15 years old in a summer. So like,
This
you
is- and
have
this
all
is
kinds
why-
of time.
I always, I try and tell the young ones these days, don't wish yourself out of high school. Don't
Yeah.
wish yourself
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
of that amount of free time that you
Mhm.
have. Because once it's gone, you don't get it back.
No.
It never comes back.
Ever.
Nope.
But
Enjoy it.
yeah.
But
That's my thing is like I finished One Piece and Bleach, and like during that time I actually ended up rewatching the original Dragon Ball. I probably watched the original Dragon Ball at least 18 times. Like start to
original
finish.
Dragon Ball it's really good.
Yeah, like
It's almost a shame that Z overshadows it in the way that it does.
it's mainly because I feel like it wasn't as family friendly. Like Dragon Ball was a very to an extent a raunchy show.
I will.
You had to ask Roshi.
So myself and some coworkers, have talked frequently about Dragon Ball Z, and I had another individual come up and say, "Yeah, I was kind of bored, and I thought, I saw Dragon Ball on Hulu, and I started watching it, and then I knew where he was going because I know those first couple of episodes of Dragon Ball, and I'm like, oh no, he's going to think we're really Kirby."
weird.
And that's what he mentioned.
to
That's
be
what he
fair-
mentioned. And I'm like, look, do not use those first few episodes as the baseline for the rest of Dragon Ball. You got to look past that. In fact, just go to Z. Just go to Z because please do not use those first few episodes as a metric.
The thing is like too is like a lot of people look at that and that's what they think because there's so much fan service in anime and stuff like that, especially in like some of the newer ones. Like if you look at like just to list a few, Heaven's Lost Property, High School DxD, Soma, yeah. Let's see.
You're
What was,
missing one.
am I?
Right.
Oh yeah, Seki Ray. Yeah.
There's another one.
Got like those were literally fan service for the sake of fan service. Oh, and now the newest, latest, and greatest, Keijo. Keijo. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you guys know about Keijo, but it's literally they fight like in swimsuits on like water and stuff, and they just beat each other up with their butts and boobs. Okay, that's literally the show. So, and so like when you have stuff like that, people see that and they're like,
right.
wow, these anime people are weird.
Yeah, one of the moves the girl does this like flying, spinning, butt stomp into this other girl.
Yeah.
Like, blows the bathing suit off.
Yep.
Flying, spinning, butt stomp.
Well,
yeah, that's what it was.
You know,
I mean, that's
like,
the best way to put it.
It's like so many of the memes. Yeah, I'm sure y'all have seen the memes where it's like anime when I'm watching it versus anime when someone walks in the room.
Or when my parents walk in, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, that happened to me. I was watching Soma at one time, and Dad walked in on me. He's like, "What the crap, Connor?" It's like, I was like, "Uh-oh."
What the crap, Zesty? What the crap?
I swear, yeah. I was like, I swear, it's different. Okay, it's not, but you know.
Give it a few minutes. It'll change, I promise.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned in a one of the shows that we did a few weeks ago that I was rewatching One Piece. I'm just going back through it. I just started at 1 and it started going through. I am now at episode 134.
Yes.
And I'm still keeping a pretty good pace. I watch a couple episodes a night. Gosh. I forgot how long and drawn out some of this stuff got, like the Alabasta arc.
Some of it is mentally draining. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, you know, like people make fun of Dragon Ball Z for like the screaming and stuff, but One Piece is like they're doing stuff the entire time, and you still feel like you just watched 15 episodes of filler. And it's all like relevant story information. Like none of it is like, oh, this can be deleted from the series. No, it's all relevant. All has a purpose.
And I really, really want to give One Piece a shot because I respect it. You know, as you know, one of those top tier animes. There's a lot of legacy behind it, but it is just daunting to think about the sheer number of episodes.
I mean,
even if I like Googled to exclude the filler, you know, it's just daunting to look at that. And
the first 100 episodes, I was actually surprised how quickly I made it through them.
Yeah.
But there's quite a few episodes just in this last story arc that basically, you know, they're fighting one of the 7 warlords. Well, the first of the 7 warlords that they end up tangling with, but it's
crocodile.
I mean, like that alone is like, it seems like there's like 34 episodes, basically, 30 episodes worth of stuff just for that arc. And so, I mean, it seems like it takes forever to get through it. But like that first 100 episodes, I mean, he goes and, because he's gathering his crew, and just to get to that point, where he's gone to go find a doctor. Even when he picks up Tony, Chopper. He picks him up. It's still, it's not that long. It doesn't seem like it's that long of an arc to introduce you to the character, let you kind of get to know, setting up the progression of how he gets in contact with the character and then ends up getting him onto the ship and then, easing out. Same thing with Zoro, it didn't take no time at all. It was just like, hey, they're going to kill you. You want my help? Nope. Okay, sure. Oh, sure. Okay. You want to? Yeah. Okay. You want to be part of my crew? Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Friends now? Yeah.
Kind of back and forth. It was like, first it was like, leave me alone. And then it was like, well, okay.
I think my head just exploded.
Yeah. One Piece is currently at 1,030 episodes on Crunchyroll as of right now.
And you're on
Good.
134. Yeah.
Oh my
Have
gosh.
fun with that.
I was at like I think I'm currently at like 1,020.
I
So
was going to say on Crunchyroll, I'm up close to I'm thinking I'm around in the 900s.
I'm in the Wano arc, which is the current arc.
I finished Big Mom,
Yes.
and then I started the Wano arc where they basically like because some of the crew went on ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they went
And-
to Wano.
Yeah, to Wano, and then the rest show up, and I'm at the point now that the rest are showing up looking for the others.
Yep. So you're at the just before the what is it called? The Reverie.
Sure.
So the Reverie is like the big world conference between all the leaders. It's basically where they're gonna. I don't think you'll care too much because you're gonna see regardless. But it's where they announce like they're deleting the warlord system, like with Boa and yeah, they're deleting that system. That's basically you're getting ready to head into that.
Okay, well that makes sense.
You'll head into that, and then you'll be in the Wano arc.
Which I kind of want to jump ahead and read the manga and kind of find out because I've been seeing little snippets of it.
Oh yeah,
I don't.
I've been wanting to as well, because they are so close. But I know it's going to be another 50 episodes before they reach the point I want to get to, that I want to see animated.
Yes.
Don't you just love that?
Yeah.
I
just want to see. I want to see Luffy.
Yeah.
I want to see, and I want to see the new powers, the stuff that Rorono Zoro.
Yes.
That he does.
It was like when Gear 4 was getting ready to be dropped in the anime. I was like,
Yeah.
we're so close. We're so close to seeing it. And when it finally happened, I lost my mind.
Because, I mean, like they talked about like the Zoro's demon eye.
Yeah.
Part of the whole cursed sword.
Yep.
Why he can carry a cursed sword.
When you say Zorro, I think of the Zorro from
yes, Antonio Banderas.
Yeah,
all that pops in my mind.
I actually watched those movies for the first time this last year.
Before those movies, there was actually a TV show. It was a black
and white TV show. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had the original Zorro actor in it.
It was like Batman, actually.
It was like the Spanish Batman.
Spanish Batman
with
a sword.
There you go.
He would come right. He'd ride into a secret lair and stuff on his trusty steed, and it was actually a pretty good show.
He was wealthy.
Yeah,
an influential family.
So
it really was.
Well, we kind of went all.
That is a
good tangent. Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't have much to say because I've not seen outside of maybe like 1 or 2 episodes of One Piece. Like I said, it's one of those I want to, but it's daunting. So I don't.
One Piece is one of the funniest shows.
Oh,
I've heard great things about it. I look at 1,000+ episodes and I'm just like,
well, I mean, it's on par. It really is. It's on par with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and just the campiness and the funniness and like the goofiness.
Oh man!
Of like he's getting ready to do battle with somebody, and he is totally not even remotely caring about the battle. He's like food.
Yes,
they're just like Goku.
I need meat.
Yeah. Or like one of my favorite fights is still the crocodile fight, because he's like, this dude like drains me of moisture. So what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna inflate myself with water.
Yes, I'm going to drink gallons of water.
Yeah, and he just turns into a literal balloon so that when he gets all the moisture sucked out of one of his limbs, he just is like, okay, and then the water that's in his belly immediately goes into the arm. And it's like, yes, that makes sense.
And he turns into a giant squirt gun, basically.
Yeah. And so he basically just it's so like all the fight scenes are great, and some of the solutions to the fight scenes are even
Ridiculous.
better.
Are pretty good.
Completely ridiculous.
Well, maybe one day I will
Yes.
sit and slowly, as an old geek,
I would
chisel
just
through this
The
series.
fight with
I would
him
just
Voice
make it
understands what I'm
one-
saying.
I
I'm
would-
80 years old and I'm watching episode 2000.
Arlong when he takes Arlong's teeth and puts them in his own mouth, starts
Yeah.
fighting with them.
So,
I've
all
got
right.
these now.
Well, I think at this point to go ahead and start to wrap us up. Top 5. I know, so there's been a little bit of time to think about it. Whoever wants to go first. Top 5 Dragon Ball movies. It can be Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super.
I'm going to have to probably go, because I had to look at the list too, because I haven't seen all of them, so I can only go by what I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will have to probably go with Fusion Reborn. I did like that.
God almighty, it's such a good one.
Which one was that?
Janimba.
Janimba.
Yeah, Janimba. That's right.
I'm trying to remember that, and I
mean, it's
usually
what
cannot.
basically it's what fueled Dragon Ball Super Broly.
What number was that?
Number 12.
12.
Oh man,
Mine has canonically
first time combining.
Yeah.
For Gogeta.
Mm-hmm. And it was
man, that's a good one. No, I think you're on the money with that.
I like Bardock.
Oh, that was a fantastic. I love Bardock. I
think
really
that was a
wish
good
they had
one.
done more with him.
And I think I'll have to round it off with, I'm going to have to go with Resurrection F, Superhero, then Broly.
Okay.
From Super. That Broly for Super was just fantastic. I love the scene where they're Broly's chasing them up that cliff, and they put him right in Frieza's path. Heads up, Frieza! Next thing you know, he's fighting Frieza.
Wait, what?
The writing has got so much better. I mean, there's no denying that. It's hard to compare some of the old with the new because of that advantage. But you're right. Oh, that scene was hilarious.
Wait, what?
Golden like Frieza. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to go with on that.
Okay. Lazy, what do you got? Or you want Zesty to go first?
He went.
Well, I can go again. I can because I actually didn't.
No,
list
you
them
can't
in.
because it took you like 50
Well,
goddamn minutes.
You said
to get through yours.
Triamite.
No,
you said Triamite. What's your top 5?
Triamite would be in number 5, I would say. Then I would probably have to go with after following that up with the return of Cooler, and then going into probably the Hero's Legacy for Dragon Ball GT, and then the Toriko with being my number 2, and the Toriko One Piece and Dragon Ball Z collaboration, and then the Broly movie being my number 1.
Now, when you say Broly movie, you mean
the new one?
The new one. Okay. Okay.
Original Broly was kind of dumb because it's like, I hate you, Kakarot, because you cried when we were children.
You cried next to me.
You cried when we were children. I hate you.
Up the wall.
It's like,
it was pretty paper thin.
Yep.
At the time. But still highly rated. A lot of people love that one.
I don't know
myself
why.
included. I mean, when you get past that,
Oh, the fight
It's-
scene was
it's
hilarious.
still a great fight because you got Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, Gohan. You got the whole gambit.
I do love the scene where he literally absorbs the spirit bomb. That was dope.
Yeah.
And the crap where the part where he beat the absolute living crap out of Vegeta, that was hysterical. Because Vegeta's like hanging in a rock face, and he's just like, "Arr!"
Mm-hmm.
That was great. But I still don't think it breaks my top 5.
Okay.
Top 10 maybe, but not top 5.
Yeah. What you got, Lazy?
Resurrection F is probably one of my most favorites, just because of the funniness of when they go to resurrect Frieza.
Mm-hmm.
He's hanging in
Yes.
that tree like
Yes.
a pinata.
Bears and fairies and shit
Bears
running
and
around
stuff.
him.
I was horse laughing on that one. I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
I love like his hell is a happy place.
Yeah, he's just sitting there going.
It's too happy.
But I thought it was funny because he he gets basically gets out, and then they send him back.
Yep.
Except now he's not patchwork Frieza. He's like
He's whole again.
Yeah.
he's whole again. So yeah. So I mean, that's probably my one of my most favorite ones. But Battle of the Gods was really good. Super Broly was good. And then this newest superhero, actually, it topped in at probably, I mean, like, I'd have to say it's one of my most favorites of the ones I've seen. I've been able to watch, like actually go to the theater and watch. Of course, I mean, obviously we haven't been able to do that because a lot of times they didn't get released in theaters. Or if they did, it was
Right.
only in select theaters. And of course, in our location, select theaters meant somewhere else on the West Coast.
Oh, I know. or like downtown West, just somewhere really far off the beaten path.
Some little hole in the wall cranny, and then so I would have to say that those 4 are definitely in my top 5, hands down.
Okay.
The problem though is that I'm trying to think of the movie. There was another movie that I want to think that me and you, Tactical, went and watched, and this was back maybe the early 2000s, and I want to think it was a Broly movie, but it wasn't. It wasn't Bio Broly. It was something else.
It was probably the return of Broly, the one where he gets trapped under that ice lake.
I don't know.
Because they had
this
'cause they
one.
I would if I had to, if anything, if they put anything in a theater, it was probably the original Broly.
And I think
Yeah.
it was the original Broly, and that was I thought, didn't they do fusion in that one?
Like it was a
Was it-
double header.
Yeah.
No, I think it was just the one of he absorbed the spirit bomb. Because that was the finishing move, was he absorbed the spirit bomb while he was in Super Saiyan and just absolutely beat the dog crap out of him.
Because you're right.
Well, but
'cause
how
I remember
did they
it.
beat him, though?
I do actually remember seeing fusion in theaters. It's been a long time, but yeah. So it may have been a double. I can't say for sure.
I just remember we went and it was me, you, and somebody else. May have been another friend that we used to run around with at the time, who we don't get to hang around with anymore due to life choices.
It happens.
It happens.
But we went and watched it, and it was a Dragon Ball movie.
Yeah.
And I remember they fought Broly, and
I mean, I'd forgot about it, but as you said it, I do remember now seeing it in theaters.
In the second Broly, it was based around Trunks and Goten.
Yeah.
And they fused.
They fused.
Yeah. Trunks and Goten were in the second one, and then after they fused and tried to fight him off, they ended up having to call in Gohan, and Gohan killed what was left of Broly. And that's how they led into the third one, because they got a hold of Broly's DNA and tried to rebuild him.
Yeah. So, which I haven't seen Bio Broly, but
I
remember that the way
it's horrendous.
I remember Broly because I remember, yes, I'm angry because you cried next to me when we were babies, and then I was supposed to be some great thing and you were not.
Broly's Second Coming is what the second one is called.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, we went and watched one, and that one was pretty good. But I don't know that I'd put that in my top 5. that's a long drawn out thing, but that was like, you got to remember that's at this point, what 15 years ago,
right?
That one came out in. That one came out in 1994. Was Second Coming of Broly.
Well, even if it came out in 94, they may have not shown it stateside in theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, how long did it take for Princess Mononoke to show up in theaters in the U.S.?
Yeah. To put in perspective, Dragon Ball GT came out in 97. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's that's something often considers when we viewed it versus when Japan got it, and the pause and what was new to us was old to them. So, all right, so my turn. I'll go last. And honestly, I've had to think about it a little bit. So wasn't completely you all on the spot. I was on the spot as well. So number 5 for me, we're doing top 5. Nobody else has mentioned it. Wrath of the Dragon. Movie number 13. Continuity wise, it doesn't make a lick of sense.
Which one was that?
It's the one that had the Dragon's Wrath in it.
Yeah, the Dragon's Wrath in it. That's the one that tried to explain.
It was the one that had the Dragon's Wrath in it.
That's the one that tried to explain where Trunks got his sword.
Oh. Yeah.
Had to do with the whistle, and at the very end, Goku does his dragon punch.
Shoryuken?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and hits that giant monster. I like Wrath of the Dragon. He does go Super Saiyan 3 in that. Number 4, I'm going to go with another one no one else has mentioned. History of Trunks.
I almost did.
That is a heartbreaker.
Fanboy, huh?
That's a heartbreak. Well, it's a Gohan and Trunks story, period.
Yeah.
But it's just, honestly, it's just a very deep, heartfelt, gut-wrenching story.
It is.
Yeah, I like the Dragon Ball GT movie for the same reason, because it was like the entire movie was just about him trying to find his great-grandfather to help his grandmother Pan,
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was just a broken-hearted kid who wanted to help his family, the only family he had left.
Exactly.
I want to extend on that a little bit more after you get done with your list and to come back to the Gohan Trunks thing. So,
all right. So number 3, and at this point from here on out, it's pretty well kind of mirroring what you guys said and pretty basic. Number 3, Fusion Reborn. The debut of Gogeta. Number 2, I'm going to say Resurrection F. And I think my overall favorite right now, as it sits, is the Dragon Ball Super version of Broly.
Yeah.
They did so well with that. They really did.
Well, I think that was
You can't beat it.
perfectly written because he was a very human character.
Oh no, Broly! Look, they've killed your father.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
my
who-
god! I can remember all of us busting a gut over
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Because we saw that in theaters together, didn't we?
Yeah.
We
did.
did.
Yeah.
So it's 2 Dragon Ball movies back to back we've seen in theaters.
Yep. Look, Broly, they've killed your father.
It was great. It was so funny. Heads up, Frieza!
It's like it was
It's
so
a
funny because
tragedy.
it's so funny because like it was that part was so well done because it was perfect revenge because they're like, look, Broly, they killed your father, and then he like rages out, fights with them for a little bit, and they're like, heads up, Frieza, and he's like, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
It's such a Frieza line.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He will remain my favorite, and I hate that the newest voice actor for Frieza is gone.
Yeah.
Because he did
is he?
so well. Yeah, he
What
passed
happened
away.
Oh, that's
So-
sad.
Mm-hmm.
So the Frieza we heard all through Super, all through the movies, the
Will
latest
not
movies,
be the one we will
is-
have.
Yeah, whenever Frieza comes back, it won't be the same. However, I do think they got someone who can do just as good. So
Well, I will be looking forward to it.
Well, they kind of have to at this point. I mean, and I think to, overseas, over to Japan, towards the end of Super, the original voice actress
for
for
Bulma.
Bulma passed away, and God, I hope she lives a long, long, long life and continues. But the original voice actress for Goku, she's still going, but it's like,
She's getting there.
unfortunately, with life in general, we're all getting older. Dragon Ball is a very old franchise. Yeah, I hope she continues to go on for many, many, many years. But yeah, we're knocking on that door of, unfortunately, losing some very talented people.
If
Yeah.
they were smart, they would go ahead and start looking now
Well,
in preparation.
if
but
I
not
remember correctly,
replace
the replacement for Bulma has done an exceptional job.
Yes.
You can't tell. I mean, they've done well.
Yeah.
But it's heartbreaking. It's just that curse of time. It is what it is.
yeah, the Frieza actor is Christopher Ayers was his name, and I couldn't remember who was taking over for him. Apparently, the person they've got taking over for Frieza, his name is Damon Mills, and he was actually an understudy of Ayers's.
Okay.
So he actually did the stuff under Ayers's guidance. And apparently it was him that we were hearing in the Universal Survival Saga
Wow.
and not Christopher Ayers. So yeah.
Because I know that Ayers, I think, had been battling for a while his issues. If I remember correctly, I may be wrong on that. Don't hold me to it, but
Oh, I'm going to.
you
Hold
would.
it to me.
I'm gonna hold you to it.
But yeah, that's the sad part, I think, of now, and especially a franchise as long and storied as Dragon Ball is we are knocking on those windows, and I want to see these adventures continue, but unfortunately we do have to grow old.
I mean,
Unfortunately.
and the sad part is it's not just going to be, the characters of Dragon Ball. It's going to be the characters of Bleach and Naruto
Yeah.
and well, actually,
All of them.
Naruto died for me after the start of the Boruto arc. So I kind of done with Naruto. But
After Shippuden ended, I haven't even looked at Boruto.
I looked at it briefly on a few things, but then I was like, everything I see just makes me more upset.
Mm.
I mean, but they turned around and now they've got another spin-off, or well, not really spin-off, but like a continuation kind of the story of Inuyasha.
Really?
If you remember watching Inuyasha,
yes.
now they've got it. a continuation of that story. So
My one of my favorite older animes is Yu Yu Hakusho,
I love you.
Oh, I know.
and
It's
they
such a shame that just ended.
well
Yeah.
they kind of summed it up. Like it's okay that it ended where it did, but I would have liked to seen more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but it's like it was at a point where it wasn't bad for them to leave it where they did. But
Mhm.
the same goes for, but like I was saying, like for Bleach and One Piece and Dragon Ball and all these older series that are still going. These actors aren't immortal. Like they're
No.
gonna pass away, and these characters that we love and we have heard the same voice for so long, they can't live forever. And the same goes for like we see in like new series and stuff like Mark Hamill, like his voice is changing as he's getting older. Like even in like, and so that'll happen to the voice actors we know and love is like their voice will change as they get older. There's not going to be things they're going to be able to do that they used to.
What
Right.
was one of the there was one of the voice actors that he did it was Uncle Iroh.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
he
I
passed
think
Yeah.
away in the
that
middle of
passed away.
after he sang "Leaves from the Vine." He passed
Make
Oh.
away. Yeah, and he said, and the new actor said, I refuse to sing that because that was his song. He sang that before he passed away. He should be the only one that should sing that. And there have been a lot of people who want to see it sang again in like the new series that's supposed to be coming out. And I'm like, no, don't.
Mm.
Like honor the wishes of like that voice actor and the
There's
people who love that voice actor.
with a lot of what Hollywood is doing nowadays. There's just not a lot of honor.
Well, it's not even Hollywood. Like
And that
Hollywood is actually honoring it. Uh it's the like fans. It's like a divide down the middle where some people want to see it sang again because it's nostalgic for them, but like at the same time like some people are like no, leave that.
there
That's his song.
I, I'm in a camp that I think sometimes things need to end.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's
Mhm.
okay that something ends. Um
Just like Yu Yu Hakusho, it's okay that it ended there.
we want to drag so much stuff on and we end up into this beat a dead horse, and
Yes.
it's just like, it's okay. It's okay that some things end. You tell an amazing story and you leave it at that. You leave it at something amazing and beautiful, whether it's the story as a whole or even what the actor has done and
Mhm.
contributed. Um,
I mean,
yeah,
and like I said earlier too, is the like that's part of the reason why I like the GT movie is because that was what it was. It was a culmination of the entire series. It was Goku passing it on.
yeah.
It's like I'm done. It's for the next generation now. And so like, exactly like you said, things can't last forever and sometimes that's okay.
And I think that, as a whole, society, maybe we need to have a little more respect for that,
Mhm.
or awareness of that, and we're not dragging some things out to the point that we're ruining them.
I mean, you look at life in general, it's like you have to accept the fact that sometimes people have to move on from things in order for them to, you know, be happier. Like sometimes people are just happier moving on. Like some things just need to stop.
Yeah,
It's done. The
I
phase is that phase and portion of their life is now over and we
but
need to respect that.
the biggest example I will throw out in my mind, and I know there's other examples out there. The Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Oh
For
God.
me, that
Crystal
series will
Skull.
always end
The Last Crusade.
with the Last Crusade, with father and son
Riding off into
riding
the
off into the sunset.
follow me, I know the way.
It's a beautiful, perfect ending, and I hate Crystal Skull, and it ain't even out yet. But I hate Indiana Jones 5 because I just like there's just no point in it.
Yeah.
We're beating a dead horse. It ain't even out yet, and I can tell you already, you're going to beat a dead horse, ruin a franchise, and yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like for me, Indy
yeah.
has always been a trilogy, and them riding off into the sunset is the most beautiful ending you can give those characters and that story, and just leave it alone.
I feel the same way about this. Like, I almost feel the same way about the Star Wars movies. I wish they had never made the sequels.
Sequel trilogy.
Like, it would have been better if they had just left it at the way it was. It was fine.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like people were still starved for Star Wars content, but yeah.
I'm gonna kind of prevent us from getting onto that soapbox because I know that'll last a while. But we can bring you back in for that episode. But that is a very big soapbox.
I'll be back.
But I agree with you. I agree. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, for the sake of time, we're at 2 hours.
Yeah,
we've had a great run for tonight's episode. I think we're probably good to go ahead and start to wrap it up. We've given our top 5. We've talked about Dragon Ball Super.
Good movie
to
watch.
And then some.
And then some.
Definitely go watch it. I mean, go give it some support. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, go watch this movie. Give them money so they can keep doing this.
Keep doing good content that respects the franchise and respects the fans. Yep. And it may not be my top 5 Dragon Ball movie, but I still had a hell of a time enjoying it at the theaters. It's definitely,
ditto.
I would say it's definitely in a top 10, at least for me. If we're not talking top 5, it's definitely a top 10. So, anybody else have anything else? Because I think we will wrap it there. So thank you, Zesty, for joining. If we have something else coming up down the road, you are welcome back as a guest geek.
We're going to do. I still think we need to do one where it's a more anime centered. Which this kind of was, but
kind of sorta.
I want to do a whole series on Cowboy Bebop because I feel like Cowboy Bebop warrants multiple discussions.
You're going to be upset with me. I've never seen Cowboy Bebop.
You need to watch it. I'm not upset with you.
I can't get past the animation.
Why?
I know it's not like anything about the series, but like at this point, when I watch it, I'm like, it just looks.
Did you like what's
odd?
Lupin the Third? Did you like it?
I don't think I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I watched it.
Let's say if you liked it and liked its animation, you leave Cowboy Bebop alone.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, I don't know why, but it was preventing me from enjoying it.
I can understand the animation style being a holdback because, and I've argued for years that Mobile Suit Gundam. The very first Gundam is held back because of its animation style. But if you can get past that, you're denying if you don't get past that, you're denying yourself a very, very good story.
I'm trying to think. I watched one of the Gundams and I thought that exact thing. I was like, this is a great story, but I am struggling with this animation right
style.
Now. Yeah.
I promise you, if you can get past the style of Cowboy Bebop and get through it all, Cowboy Bebop is a very deep anime, and I will always argue and defend Cowboy Bebop is my number 1 anime.
I'm trying to think. There was another anime that I was watching, and the anime style was, and it was that older, I want to say like 90s.
Yeah. Oh, there's a 90s style to anime.
It reminds me of like the Speed Racer animation.
Yes,
that's the best way I can describe it. Because like the funny thing is like there's that weird thing of some of it is like Speed Racer, and then others is like oh crap, Lazy. What was that anime we were staring at the other day? And I pointed out and I said that's one of my favorites. You remember it was a mech anime.
Macross?
No. Tenchi Myo.
Oh, Tenchi.
Yeah. Tenchi Myo. The original Tenchi, I like that animation style, but it's like the similar art, but the animation is different, and that's where like Cowboy Bebop and Speed Racer and all those get me, because like the animation is different, like the way they move the mouths and everything. I feel like Tenchi Muyo is very fluid,
Mm.
whereas the original Gundam and the original like Cowboy Bebop, their mouths don't move quite as fluid, and it throws me off and it messes with me.
Hmm.
Well, we
I,
may have to sit down and watch at least watch. There's a few episodes that you have to watch.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
I
There's a
mean,
few
I
episodes
will. I won't
that are
argue that
mandatory to watch.
Cowboy Bebop is perfect, but when it hits home, it hits home, and it hits home
Yeah.
good. It's
Poison
give
the
it a
Ass.
shot.
Well,
Give it a deeper shot.
I am
Maybe
not
you too will
opposed
dance
to
in the rain.
yeah, I'm not opposed to watching it. It's just one of those things of I tried and then I
Well,
couldn't get too far into it.
yeah, and I don't knock that at all because depending on the art style and any number of factors, there can be something that maybe shuts you off from anime or makes it harder
Yeah.
to get into. So no, I don't knock that at all. I respect that.
Um
It's normal.
but the one that we were talking about, the one that Lazy saw was the Tenchi Muyo War on Geminar, so it was like the
Mhm.
newer one, and that is
Yeah.
probably one of my top 5 animes ever. I enjoy the fool out of that anime. Watched it watched the fool out of it. I've watched it probably 6 or 7 times.
Yeah. So, all right. So we got some homework. We will, like I said, we need to do some. There will be some time for anime. And I'm with you. And like I said, I think Cowboy Bebop deserves
Yeah.
a pretty deep because when you get into when you really get into it, it can get deep.
I can give it
You'll
another shot. Like
you will
I don't
search
mind
your
to.
soul for Cowboy Bebop.
um
But anyway, wrapping it up. Anybody got anything else?
I think I'm good.
I think I'm good, man.
just
All
real
right.
quick, Iron-Blooded Orphans. That's another one that will make you search your soul.
I've heard good things. Yeah.
It. I will not lie. I cried. I cried.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
like Iron-Blooded Orphans, fantastic show.
No,
I
no
still cry.
judgment here. So, all right. Well, we will wrap that up there. We're over 2 hours. We've had a great episode. I feel like, yeah. If nobody has anything else, I don't. Next week we should be hopping back to a video game, given our alternating pattern. So yeah, we'll be back to a video game. We'll see what we got. I say next week, within the next couple of weeks. Just depending. Sometimes we do one a week, sometimes it's every other week. We'll see how we're feeling. But yeah, we should be on a video game next week. Final comments. Anybody?
Nah.
All right.
Very appropriate.
We'll roll the credits. Thank you for watching, for listening. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And yeah, if you haven't checked out Dragon Ball Superhero, go check it out. We had a lot of fun with it. We obviously love the Dragon Ball franchise. So thanks for watching.
You forgot the Zesty Geek.
I couldn't edit it in time.
He was here too.